Good morning. My name is Ron Stevens. I'm the Executive Director for Veridian, and I'd like to welcome each of you to the Veridian Residential Association and Elements at Veridian annual meetings for 2020. First order of business is call the meeting to order, which we have done, and approval of the March 2019 minutes. Do I have a motion for that? Thank you. And do I have a second? Thank you. All in favor? Motion is passed and the minutes have been approved. The next order of business that I'd like to do is introduce the staff that we have. First, we have Donna Courtney, who is our operations coordinator. Beverly Shea, who is our administrative assistant. Jordan Valeris, who is our lifestyle director for the Residential Association. Gabrielle Lechateau, who is our lifestyle associate. Michelle Randall, who is our Lakeview Event and Conference Center director. Giovanni Torres, who is our maintenance technician, and also Joe Gonzalez, who is our maintenance technician. Roger Villarreal is also one of our maintenance technicians at the Elements at Veridian. We also have Christy Hullum, who is our lifestyle director for Elements at Veridian. It's my pleasure to introduce the board of directors, both for the Veridian Residential Association and the Elements at Veridian. Howard Porteous is our board president. Robert Kimball is our vice president. Jason Berind is our treasurer, and Deborah Mears is our secretary. I'm very excited to be able to introduce you to Christy Hullum, who is the lifestyle director for the Elements at Veridian. And she's actually done a fantastic job, and I'm going to let her give you a lifestyle update.
Thanks, Ron. Hello all, Christy here. For those of you that I have not had the pleasure to meet, I'm the lifestyle director for Elements. My role is multifaceted. However, primarily my focus is creating unique and engaging experiences for you to enjoy and connect with your neighbors. By now, most of you have had the opportunity to check out our beautiful 10,000 square foot Magnolia Lifestyle Center. It has been so exciting watching residents come in and out, taking fitness classes, working out in the gym, playing pickleball, swimming in the pool. And it has already proven to be the heart of the community. And the culture that I see you developing there is one of caring, concern for your neighbor, and fun. You guys are all about having a good time, and we're all about that as well. For those of you that don't have access to the Magnolia yet, come see me. I'll get your access cards ready, and you can come enjoy the amenities as well. This year has proven to be one of changes. We started out with just a handful of homes occupied to now we have over 75 and growing. Our lifestyle has also evolved. We started out meeting one another with mix and mingles, meet and greets, brunching. We had a bountiful Friendsgiving, a great holiday party. And as the climate has changed and we're all getting adjusted to these challenging times, so has our lifestyle programming. We have been focusing on virtual events like trivia night, cocktail demonstrations. We've done flower and coffee deliveries. We have ongoing food and beverage service to Elements, and I promise you that will continue. We were able to have a really fun Friday Night Vibes the first week we moved into the Magnolia with live music, cocktails where you're able to just relax and visit with your neighbors. And I can promise you there will be more of that to come in the future. Some goals that I have moving forward would be to implement a health and wellness program, to help our already great group of social clubs to kick off and find a safe way to meet and do what you do. I would like to thank the residents that have volunteered to facilitate those groups, and we are anxious to get that started. I have no doubt that the demonstration kitchen and patio kitchen will be the heartbeat of our community. I envision cooking demonstrations, cooking classes, chef dinners, patio parties. There's just an endless number of ways that we can recreate in that space, and I know that you're going to love it. One thing I know about you is that you love great food and beverage, and that's where it's going to all happen. I would also like to remind you that as a part of the master community, you have access to all of Greater Viridian's amenities. Please take the time to check that out and enjoy the great lifestyle provided there by their lifestyle director. I would just like to say that I want to thank you all for supporting our lifestyle program. It has been my pleasure and honor to be a part of this community, and I have no doubt that together we can make this a great place for you to live your best life. Thank you. See you soon.
I'd like to introduce you to Jordan, who is our lifestyle director, and she's going to give you our lifestyle update.
Hi everyone, my name is Jordan Villaros. If we have not had the chance to meet, I am the Lifestyle Director for Viridian. Gabriella Chateau and I are the lifestyle team that plan all of the residential events. We have hosted over 365 fitness classes, 165 regular events, and about 70 club meetings. We hope to continue to grow the lifestyle programming in Viridian. We do look forward to continuing our new normal of events this year. We are working on what those holiday events will look like, and those will be coming soon. We have definitely enjoyed thinking outside of the box with all of the events that we've hosted virtually, and we look forward to continuing this throughout the year.
At this time, I'd like to introduce Jason Berind, who is our treasurer for the Viridian Residential Association, as well as the Elements at Viridian, and he'll give you a financial update.
Thank you, Ron. Okay, I'm going to start with the Viridian Residential update for the financial report. 2020 operating budget, as you may recall in the past, is a zero-based budget, so our projected income matches our projected expenses. Projected income 2020 operating budget $3,435,109. $3,435,109. Same for projected expenses, $3,435,109. Reserves to date as of December 31st, 2019. For Viridian Residential, we have reserves Union Bank, $111,018.69. 111,018.69. Fine Mark Reserve, MMMK, 247,236.09. 247,236.09. Replacement Reserves Union Bank, 245,946.87. 245,946.87. Texas Republic Reserve Bank, 236,961.29. 236,961.29. And Townhome Cash Reserve, 218,665.20. That's 218,665.20 cents. Total reserves, $1,127,991.48. That's $1,127,991.48. And that's for Viridian Residential. Now for the Elements, for your 2020 operating budget, again, it's a zero-based budget. Projected income of $283,893. Again, $283,893. Same for expenses for that zero-based budget. Developer contribution 2019 was $78,779.83. $78,779.83. And that's your financial report for Viridian Residential as well as the Elements. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Woo, what a journey. It's good to see you guys. It's a lot happened since the last time we were together. I just want to tell you, I'm Bob Kimball, and this is Howard, as you know, and we're residents of Viridian. We live here. We also had the privilege of dreaming this thing up and getting to execute on building it. And we just thank you so much, again, for trusting us and for believing in our dream. And we hope that you enjoy it as much as we enjoy it, and we're grateful. So we have a lot to talk about. It's a big update. And we have a lot of new people. You know, at one point we were only moving in, 150 to 200 families a year, and now it's 400 families a year, it looks like, over the next 12 months. So we're growing exponentially. There's a lot of new faces, a lot of people that haven't met each other yet. So hopefully you'll, in this post-COVID world, we'll get a little closer over time, and you'll get to meet your wonderful neighbors. This is a really different place. It's amazing how much kindness is extended, and it's almost surprising how well we all get along in such a diverse neighborhood. So we just want you to experience that, the new people. So I want to thank our Pioneer guys again. But before we get started, many of you know Howard and I because you've been here since the very beginning in 2012. It's hard to believe it's been 8 years. And you know my wife, Carrie. And Carrie and I were hiking in Yellowstone, and she had a brain aneurysm and collapsed, and helicopter ride out of the back country to Bozeman, and then an airplane ride to Salt Lake, where the doctors and nurses worked for months to keep her alive through multiple bleeds and infections, and it was hard. And one of our neighbors in Viridian actually flew his private plane out to pick us up and bring us home. I can't tell you how much it means to me, the love and the support from this neighborhood. You guys are amazing. I'm still opening cards at night. I'll open 2 or 3 cards every other night or so. It's just, I've got a box. It's going to take me a while to get through them all. The sweet notes and the Starbucks gift cards, and I just want to say how much I appreciate you all and the encouragement. It's miraculous. Carrie's getting better. She still has a long way to go. It's going to be some years, but she's a complete miracle that she's here. The prayer vigil that you guys did, the first time I was really able to get past the shock and be able to cry a little bit was when I saw all my neighbors out in Inspiration Park singing and worship and praying for Carrie and I. And I just want you to know, how grateful I am and how much it means to me to live here and to be part of this community. And please know that Howard and I, as residents on the board, it's personal for us. And it goes way beyond this dream that we get to build. It has a lot to do with the fact that we're here and we love you and we're grateful for you. So let's go. We'll get into it a little bit. For those of you that are new and don't know us, we want to talk to you a little bit about the philosophy behind Viridian. Viridian is a community that's developed for diversity and openness. We don't segment people by income. Most master plans would have a spine road and pods of different income level people, 30-foot lots, 40-foot lots, 50-foot lots, 60s, 70s, 80s, and the customs would all be behind a gate. And we don't believe in that, and we mix everyone together. We have $1.5 million houses, as you know, right across the street from a $300,000 townhome, across the street from our new luxury rentals. That philosophy is how we used to develop before World War II. We have narrow streets, and for those of you that have garages facing the street, I would prefer you park in the street. Some of you aren't going to like that, but I'd rather have you in the street than blocking the sidewalk because we're all out walking around. The cars are traffic calming devices. When you park in the street, it slows all the other traffic down so that our people walking our dogs and our strollers and our bicycles all have a safer environment to play in. That's intentional. I get questions about that all the time. If you go to the old great neighborhoods, you're going to see tree canopied streets and cars parked on it with alleys in the back. And that's what we're doing. And everybody's mixed up in terms of income. The other thing philosophically is we wanted a community that was open and was diverse and made a difference in Arlington as a whole, not just in Veridian. We wanted all of our neighbors of different backgrounds, different religions, different colors, different non-religions, LGBTQ. We wanted the whole world to be able to come in this grand experiment and see if we can coexist together without killing each other. And so far, it's been great. And I would just encourage you to continue to love on each other first and judge second. And look, we all have different philosophies, and it's hard. It's hard, but it's amazing. And so as one of the more diverse communities in the country, we're selling close to, we're 41st in the U.S. this year in sales. So the experiment's working. We're drawing people in, new people all the time, coming into Veridian to this grand experiment. And we're drawing people in from outside the community to enjoy these amazing public spaces. And so welcome them with open arms and let them know how much we care about our community. And let's leave the world a little better place with a little more kindness. And I think this grand experiment can show the world that, hey, there's a different way to live. And we haven't had any significant crime issues. We do have a few things that come up, but as far as crime goes in a neighborhood, things are extremely low in Veridian. You can look at the statistics and see that. Not perfect. You know, we got our opportunistic package thieves that run through the neighborhood around Christmas time. But generally speaking, guys, it's a pretty safe place. And it's a diverse place, and I love it. And I hope you love it as much as we do and can embrace the philosophy behind it. The next thing we want to talk about is a public-private partnership. We get a lot of questions about taxes in Veridian, and we do pay more, but we have a lot more control of our destiny. It's a very sophisticated financial model, and I sent a video out the other day. Hopefully you got a chance to look at it. But we have a public-private partnership. A lot of the taxes that you pay that would normally go to the city, the county, the hospital, and college district, a percentage of those, 85% of your city taxes, 75% of your county taxes, 50% of your hospital and college taxes that you pay, all come back for a period of time through like 2042. They come back and they help fund all the public infrastructure, the flood control and drainage, the landscaping, and all the things that you enjoy, the trail, all the connectivity, the trail systems are all part of that public-private partnership. Without it, there would be no Veridian. It's not even remotely economically viable to have the quality of the public-private spaces that you see in Veridian and have houses that any of us could afford. So I'm grateful to the city, the county, the hospital, and the college district for their participation in making this all happen. So their tax flows plus the Veridian Municipal Management District was created. That's a taxing jurisdiction just over Veridian, and it helps us pay for and control the flood control and drainage areas that are so important to our long-term health. And it gives us the ability, if we choose to maintain all the public landscaping to a much higher level than what the city could do on their own. That's really important, I think, to the housing values. These beautiful parks that we all enjoy and that the public at large can come in and enjoy, they're not possible without the public-private partnership. And the agreement is that, hey, we maintain those through our homeowners association dues and the Veridian Municipal Management District taxes. We maintain the maintenance of those areas. Now, if we ever decide as a community we don't want to do that anymore, I think that would be kind of silly. But if we ever decided as a group we didn't want to do that anymore, we could mow and blow it like every other open space in the city. And it would be a different maintenance level. It wouldn't look the same. But that's always a possibility. I get asked that question all the time. Hey, why are our HOA dues going to maintain public spaces that people are enjoying? Well, because we're enjoying them. And the public stakeholders paid for all that public infrastructure, at least a large percentage of it, and we're helping pay for the rest as well. So I'm grateful to our public stakeholders and our public-private partnership. Without it, this place wouldn't exist. So please thank your city council, your county commissioners, your hospital and college district for sharing the taxes that we pay for them to be able to put that back into Veridian and share with us so this could happen. It's been really good for them too. Don't get me wrong. We're up to $1 billion in value in Veridian on something that was long forgotten and nobody wanted. Abandoned land that was empty since God created the earth and no one wanted to have anything to do with it. So if you ever want to know more about that, please come see me and we'll talk about it. All the economics of what the HOA dues were and the taxes was all set up in advance so that we'll, for 50 years, a mindset of how do we take care of this place and have a little more autonomy and control as a Veridian community rather than always having to rely on the city of Arlington to take care of us. I think that's a good thing. Hopefully you guys, as you learn more about that, will think that's a good thing too. I just want to mention again that Nextdoor is not affiliated with us in any way, shape, or form. I don't get on that website anymore just because I see so much information that's just not true. I would really encourage you to reach out to Ron at the Veridian Residential Association, or track Howard and I down. We're around. We live in the neighborhood. We're riding our bikes on the trails. Come down to the Sailing Center and see us. We'd love to visit with you if you have questions. I think by now everybody knows we're pretty transparent, and we'll tell you the truth. You may not always agree with us, but at least you're going to hear from our heart what we think about whatever topic it is that you have a question about. Howard, I'm going to give a little bit of a commercial update, and then I'm going to ask you to kind of talk about what's coming next as far as development activity this year. I get a lot of questions about the commercial center. Now, I'm going to be straight. After COVID, the hotels, retail has been decimated. The hardest hit areas have been hospitality and retail and restaurants, and they're closing all over the place. So to expect that we're going to have a flood of new retail anytime soon, it's just not going to happen. We're going to have to recover a little bit. Now, what we are doing is building the density. So we've got senior housing coming in the commercial area. We have a CVS that's negotiating. Our new 7-Eleven's under construction. Our new strip retail with our medicals doing really well. And our retail that's opening up with some neighborhood services is just opened up, and they're starting to lease up. So we've got good activity going. Also, Howard's going to tell you about our beer garden and give you some details about that soon. So our new beer garden, in the spring, we're all going to be sitting out, hopefully, socially distancing with our masks. We're going to be sitting out enjoying a cold one by the lake, and hopefully some burgers too, and maybe some coffee in the morning on a drive-by basis. So we're super excited about that, and that's coming. Also, the luxury rentals, the multifamily that Streetlights is doing, will start leasing. The demographics of the families that will live there, or the individuals, household incomes anywhere from 70,000, 50% or more will be individual income 70,000 to over 200,000. Some of the rents in those apartments are more than your mortgage payments. I'm always surprised by that. They do a great job, and I know there's always a lot of fear sometimes about multifamily. Well, Arlington's never seen luxury rentals the way Streetlights does it in the history of the city. So we're looking forward to that open house in December, and you guys can all come take a look and judge for yourself the quality level that's in there. The other commercial update is we're looking to have a senior housing development in there for assisted living and Alzheimer's. Some of us are having more senior moments than we'd like, and we may need to have an option, a place to go to without leaving the neighborhood. I'm in that category. My wife's the one with the brain bleed, and I'm the one that can't remember where I left my keys. So hopefully I'm gonna age in place, and we're trying to create a situation where we can all age in place in Veridian and not have to leave the neighborhood. So I'm going to stop there for a minute. One last thing, you all sent in great questions. Some of them we've answered in the past, so we've had some new people ask some of the same questions. So we've republished our questions with updates and any new questions that were asked. We've answered all of those in writing. That way you guys can refer back to them. If you forget how we answered something, you can go back there and look. So all of your questions that you've asked, we've answered in writing, and they're out on the website please go pull that down and take a look. If you have any follow-up questions, reach out to Ron and he'll get them to us. And if we didn't understand your question, we'll do our best to answer them again. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Howard on what's coming up. What kind of development activity can you expect over the next 12 months?
Okay. Well, good morning, everybody. So obviously, we've had a lot of new construction that's taken place this last year. We just brought on a new phase of about 400 lots. And after much ado, we brought on the island. And if you haven't walked over or driven over, because the bridge is open, I encourage you to do so, because it was beyond our wildest imagination to live on the island in the middle of North Texas with an amazing bridge. We're working on some color schemes for the different bridge lights. We've done a couple to date, but they were just kind of tests. But right now it's Viridian green, and then we'll be going forward with that. But believe it or not, that little island, as it appears, isn't so little. It's about 154 lots on 40 acres. So it's pretty amazing. So the next phase we're currently developing is 2D. That doesn't mean much to most people, but it's the last regular product phase in Viridian. We have some others that are there, but they're a little bit more specialty product. And that will be another 350 lots. And that should deliver at the end of this year, early next year. And we'll be excited to bring that on. And with that brings on some more parks. So one of the things that we've been asked for by repeated times is pickleball courts. So in the plans for this next phase, there are 2 pickleball courts that are being built, and they'll be obviously available to everybody. And that's in direct response to people asking and encouraging, and the tennis players don't want to share their tennis courts. So let's just be honest. As many of you have seen, the other project that's been going on for a while but is getting there now is Storm Park. It is really starting to take shape. The structure is now built and is very visible, and all of the stonework, and they're building the riverbed right now. So that is a pretty amazing piece in which that will have 7 drop waterfalls that go down through the project, and a significant amount of water through those, plus the gathering areas and the other sitting areas. And I think that will be a very, very amazing park. And it also manages stormwater. It utilizes storm drain water from the different areas and ties it into the system. So it's also clarifying and purifying water before it goes into the lake. The next one that's adjacent to that is adjacent to the new area we just built is a lake slope, and the rest of we call Trinity Park, which is earmarked by the giant structure that's out in the middle of nowhere between the lakes. And that is on track to start. It's actually started. We're doing surveying work to get that work done. And by next spring, that should be complete. So we'll have trails that go from all the way to that side, and you'll be able to go all the way up adjacent to the lakes on the westerly side, and end up at Storm Park and create a pretty large loop. And just all part of the trail system that we've gradually been putting together with pieces. So that's going to be another amazing park. The beer garden, everybody has asked a lot about that. With the onset of COVID and the challenges for retail and hospitality, we just really stepped back a little bit. The design has continued on and everything else, and it has not changed of any significance, but it didn't seem to make sense to open something we couldn't use. It's primarily outdoors, but it does have some covered areas, and with the food service issues, we just felt that economically that didn't make sense. Well, that's been released again, and we are now putting forward the bids and everything else, and we hope to get that started in the next 45 days. And so our goal is for that to be open in March. So, and then we want to welcome our newest builder into the neighborhood, which is Guillen Homes. Guillen's building a Muse Paseo product that, and Muse by English, it's an English word meaning park on the front, park on the street. And so it is a park instead of a road as their front yards. We already have several examples of that throughout Viridian, but they've been very successful, and they appeal to a certain buyer, but we've not had any trouble with people finding them appealing. So it's been great. But Guillen's a really good builder, have significant financial strength. They build a really beautiful product. They've been a great team to work with. And so we're looking forward to them starting. They should be breaking ground on their models and their production homes in the next 60 days. So I think beyond that, the CVS, Bob mentioned briefly the CVS negotiations have reappeared. And also to mention one other thing is Moji, who is the developer of the southerly of the two commercials on the west side of Collins, approached us the other day about adding a drive-through facility, not for a fast food restaurant, but for a more of a sit-down restaurant with that facility. And they're doing the architectural on that. So we hope that with that approval, that we'll be able to bring our first restaurant into that property. So he's working really hard on it. I talked to him yesterday about it. So, oh, a surprise! I love it. Anyway, once again, I share with Bob. This community is amazing. It's a legacy project for Bob and I. We've both done this in different parts and different stages throughout our entire life, and we've never ever encountered a community like this. So we thank you a lot for being here and believing in us.
Yeah, we really, normally at this time, we'd have every year stand up, and I look forward to when we're all can be together and do that again. And about 8 to 10% of you are on your second home in Veridian or third. It's amazing how many of us get in here and then we kind of noodle around and find something we like a little better and trade into another home. So thank you guys for believing in us. Particularly those early years, when, it was just pictures. There was nothing real out on the ground, and you had to trust that we were going to deliver on all those promises, and you bought anyway. We are so incredibly grateful that you trusted us, and that you continue to trust us. And we know how rare that is today. Developers and homeowners typically have contentious relationship. That's never been the case. We live here, and it's, you guys treat us and love on us, and it's amazing. And so we just want to thank you again. Sales, we are 41st, I think, in the U.S., according to one particular group that measures that. That's remarkable. That land that was long forgotten and nobody wanted it, and we're top in the country across the United States. So it's working. You guys keep recruiting your friends and family to move in. We love it, and we appreciate it. And we hope that we continue to honor your trust in us as we finish the development out over the coming years. A couple other things. One last thing. The Sailing Center volunteers, those of you who have volunteered to provide leadership on those advisory boards, also on the advisory boards to the Residential Association Board, we're so grateful for your participation. The Sailing Center is exploding with growth. We're grateful for all the volunteers that are doing the training and our adult learn to sail classes. They're all full. Tuesday nights, even if you're not a member of the Sailing Center, we invite you on Tuesday night to come down and see what it's all about. We have group racing out there. It's pretty friendly, mostly pretty friendly. There's a few ultra competitor people, and hopefully I don't consider myself in that class, but people are pointing fingers at me. It's a lot of fun. If you've never learned to sail in your life, don't worry about it. Come on out. Almost everyone out there had no clue, and they came out and enjoyed it. It's a great way to see the community from a different perspective out on the water looking back. I think you'll really enjoy it. So thank you again for your trust and your love and your prayers. We're grateful.
Elements.
Elements. All right. So how could I forget elements? So we're not done yet. This next section is just to update elements. So we decided to do an age-restricted section in Veridian up on the north end. And we're happy to announce that the elements, the Magnolia, our elements event center, community center is finished. It's open. We're navigating these restrictions of the COVID world. We're working really hard. I hope you can be patient with us. Some of you are not good at that. Others of you are wonderful. And just know, look, I want you to be in there. I really do. And we're working hard to get it more and more open. We're trying to understand in this COVID world what we can and can't do. Just know Howard and I are pushing as hard as we can to get everything open as safely as we can. Please wear a mask. Please do all the things necessary. Carrie, who doesn't get out much, we had our first opportunity to see it finished. Carrie and I have a bunch of people living in my house helping do rehab for my All my kids, adult children, moved back to help my wife rehab. So there's 7 people living in my house, adults. You can imagine the chaos that reigns, particularly with your kids. But it's been wonderful. And so we took the whole clan over to the Magnolia the other night, and my daughter went to Eatsies and brought some food, and we got a chance to just sit and see it for the first time finished. I haven't been able to get out with Carrie because of her injuries, and we got a chance to get out and enjoy it. It's magnificent. I can't wait to open it up so you guys can all enjoy it. What a phenomenal job. So I look forward to you guys getting to enjoy all of that. You're pioneer buyers, so I appreciate you. You're kind of like our first adopters in the beginning. You got a little more of a track record to look at, but the Elements is new. It's going to take some time to grow in. Be patient with us. The landscaping and landscape architecture that you see in Veridian didn't happen overnight. It took a few seasons of growing in to get all the native areas where we need them. So please don't compare where you're at with the old phases in Veridian. It takes time. All those people in those old phases in Veridian had to be patient too. So, as we get older, we're less patient because we don't have as much time left on the planet. A friend of mine bought a house, and I said, why did you put 8-inch and 10-inch caliper trees? Those are really expensive. He says, I'm too old to watch them grow. He said, they got to be grown now because I'm not going to be around long enough. So I get it. I understand the sense of urgency. We are working hard to get everything cleaned up so you guys can enjoy the lifestyle that I know you expect. So we're excited about that. It's going really well. We're looking at the future phases and how we might organize those, and just know that there's a lot more landscaping and work to be done in there to get it shipshape. We're on it. Our landscape contractors are super busy around the community, so please be patient with us as we get all that done. Howard, anything on?
Well, I wanted to mention the new Elements manager that's coming online. Ron?
Yeah, next week we should have the new manager coming on board for the Elements. It'll take a little bit of time to get her trained and operating successfully. So, but we are making giant steps to move in that direction, and that'll help the Elements totally straight across the board.
Now, Veridian's complicated, and when we bring new people in, you know more than they do. So when you ask them a question and they give you the wrong answer, be gentle and forgiving. It might take them a little while to understand how complicated this place is. So please be kind and give them time to get up to speed. We'll train them as fast as we can. But it almost takes a year to really understand Veridian, whether you're new to live in here or whether you're, certainly if you're a new employee. This place is amazing, but it's complicated, right? So give them time to understand how it all works and how the rules work. And this is our first age-restricted community, so we're learning too. And as we find things that don't work, we'll do our best to correct them or fix them, and hopefully we'll leave the world a better place than we found it when we're all done. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye. I'm going to say thank you again. I look forward to when we can all be together under the big tent out front for our HOA meeting, hopefully next year when this COVID mess is behind us, and we can all fellowship a little bit together. Thank you, and thank you for your time and your trust. Bye-bye.